clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work.
Top 10. When the hot boys hit the field, this is what we tell them. Listen what we tell them. This is what we tell them.
Go to work, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work, yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work, yeah, it's time to go to work. Gone clock in.
They say, defense wins championships. We're here in Dallas, we got a top 10. When the hot boys hit the field, this is what we tell them. Listen what we tell them. This is what we tell them.
Go to work, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work, yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work, yeah, it's time to go to work. Gone clock in, gone clock in, gone clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. See my defense, they on the field right now. Yeah, my defense, they yelling 3 and now. Yeah, my defense, they don't like your quarterback. So my defense, all trying to get them sacks. With the ball in the air, secondary go to work. Byron Jones, he be there, he be lying, he be lurking. If you get past him, Jeff Heath gon' hurt him. Put the ball down, go ahead and run it. I got a hot front four when they coming. Plus we got the best linebacker duo in the whole NFL. We the hot boys sizzling on fire, come to give your team hell. Clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work, yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work, yeah, it's time to go to work. Go defense, go defense, gone defense, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. I know I said at the beginning of this track, man, that we had like a top 10 or like a top 5. Hot boys gearing up to be triple D, you know what I'm saying? Clock Dallas doomsday. Listen what the hot boys tell them. Put me in, coach. Yeah, we all hard hitters. Smell fresh meat. Yeah, we all eating. Put me in, coach. Yeah, we all hard hitters. Smell fresh meat. Yeah, we all eating. Put me in, coach. Yeah, we all hard hitters. Yeah, I smell fresh meat. Yeah, we all eating. Clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. Gone clock in, gone clock in, gone clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. See the star on the field, you gon' meet D-Law. Thinking you an outlaw, we sending the predator. Jalen Smith scoop up the whole field, so how you gon' play here, bruh? If you release your dogs, we got a wolf hunter. LVE, tackling Dutchman coming. If you hungry and trying to eat like Zeke, we'll send in a taco to sweep you off your feet. Now you deep in the woods, plus we got a couple Collins. They say time and pressure make diamonds, the hot boys shining. Clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work, yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work, yeah, it's time to go to work. Gone clock in, gone clock in, gone clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work.
Top 10. When the hot boys hit the field, this is what we tell them. Listen what we tell them. This is what we tell them.
Go to work, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work, yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work, yeah, it's time to go to work. Gone clock in.
They say, defense wins championships. We're here in Dallas, we got a top 10. When the hot boys hit the field, this is what we tell them. Listen what we tell them. This is what we tell them.
Go to work, clock in, D. Yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in, D. Yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. Down, clock in, clock in, clock in, down, clock in, clock in, clock in, down, clock in, clock in, clock in, clock in, D. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See my defense, they on the field right now. Yeah, my defense, they yelling 3 and now. Yeah, my defense, they don't like your quarterback. So my defense, all trying to get them sacks. With the ball in the air, secondary go to work. Byron Jones, he be there, he be lying, he be lurking. If you get past him, Jeff Heath gon' hurt him. Put the ball down, go ahead and run it. I got a hot front four when they coming. Plus we got the best linebacker duo in the whole NFL. We the hot boys sizzling on fire, come to give your team hell. Clock in, D. Yeah, it's time to go to work.
Thank you for watching West Coast. This is Antoine Woods.
Thanks for watching West Coast. Go Cowboys.
This is Ray Williams. Thank you so much for hanging out with us with Dallas Cowboy Scout.
Appreciate it.
My man West Coast from this buck.
Thank you for watching West Coast.
Shout out West Coast Cowboys. You know it's always love over here. Raider, Cowboy, always a Cowboy.
Did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
What's up with you guys? It is your boy West Coast, man, and we are live in the building, man. How you guys doing on this Sunday? What this ain't Sunday, this is Monday, man. See what happens when you lose, man? It throw your whole goddamn week off. I'm up here thinking it's still Sunday, man. But yo, it is your boy West Coast, and I got my Cowboy cousin on the line. We could be in better moods, but hey, we lost yesterday. But we gonna talk about this thing. But before I do, man, you already know who it is, man. Who I got to the left of me? Put it in the comment box. Who is it, man? No wonder than the boss. What's up with you, boss Cowboy? I'm good, man. I'm damper. You know, I've had my fair share of a day. I'm not gonna lie to you. I could have had a better day today, but I would have loved to have.
A bit, but hey, you know, the quest for perfection is over. Now let's get on some realism.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, I mean, that's a very powerful statement. But I will tell you this, you know, sometimes when you are chasing, you know, them seasons where you are when you're you know that quest for perfection, and I have you thinking that the quest for perfection is more, you know, having that 16-0 is more important than getting the ultimate goal, and that is a Super Bowl, man. So, you know, I think the Dallas Cowboys definitely learned something in that loss yesterday. And one of the first things I think we learned on some positive stuff, because I want to start this thing off with some positive stuff. Some positive stuff is this, man. Them Hot Boys is back, man. I could definitely drink some brisk iced tea with some this is brisk iced tea. I could definitely, you know, sip a little iced tea to that, man, because these Hot Boys are definitely back, man. What are your thoughts on that, boss Cowboy?
I'm glad you started with that, because the temptation is to start with the bad, you know. But like, if we just kind of focus on like that for a second, that was exponentially good.
Oh, he using them big words. Y'all already know what it is.
I mean,
the big words. About to get it cracking. It's like
Quinn made me put
I'm buckling up.
Exponential on these balls.
Ooh.
Like, brother, like, man, Quinn was on some all-pro quest. Like, at this pace, Quinn is going to hit him 15 to 17 sacks, you know, and he's already halfway what took Gregory a whole season to do. So the upgrade is clear on the right side right now. And not only was he just the best hot boy, he was the best defensive player, and he was a good player when LVE and Jalen had a great day. Yeah. And it wasn't even close. So, like, when you look, to me, looking at Quinn and what he did, I mean,
Well,
my God,
when
bro.
LVE
Like, you know,
and
offense
Jalen
is
had
obviously
a
flat,
great
but if
day.
we could just don't think about offense for 1 second and just think about what the defense did. The way I see it, West Coast, and that's why I'm glad you brought that up, is that basically we've been interchanging every game. The first game, the offense carried the defense. The second game, the offense carried the defense. Third game, offense carried the defense, and the defense showed up in the second half. The fourth game, the defense carried the offense. So what does that say to me as good news is we have not even yet had a complete game. We haven't had a game yet to where the defense and the offense balling together. So if I look at it in a natural kind of developing season, there's still a chance for us to hit another gear that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, man. Let me go this. You know what I'm talking about? I reserve this for game days. I mean, for game weekends, because but I got you, man. Hey, man, I already told y'all, man. I had to apologize to a gang of people on Instagram, man, because on Instagram they be trying to get real personal about my defense, man. And I ain't gonna lie, I said a couple things about a couple people's mamas. It's just what I do, man. When you say something about my defense, they out there working hard. They the lowest paid portion of our team, putting out the highest production consistently. You know what I'm saying? I get really in my, I get in my feelings. You know what I'm talking about? But this is what I learned about my defense last night. And that is that my defense can hold it down in a big game. Like, in a big game, I can put it on them boys to keep any team where they need to be. Or at least, I remember I used to always tell you guys, it's the big brother, little brother effect. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's going to be the big brother today? Who's going to be the one laying down the law? Last 3 games, it's been the offense. It's been the offense going out there with their shirt off in the middle of the street talking about who won it. It start punching on folks. And then the defense come in there, and right when he got you hold down, the defense come over like Joe Pesci and pop you right there. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? It switched in this Saints game.
Switched.
And now the defense was the big brother. The defense was the one in the middle of the street with his shirt off talking about who won it with Hov. You know what I'm saying? And guess what, man? In the biggest of games, I just feel that at it, because I mean, there's some explosive offenses out there, but it don't get no better than my boy Sean Payton. You know what I'm saying? And I have a lot of faith in what them boys up there in Kansas City is doing. Don't get me wrong, but it's just something about Sean Payton and his ability to adapt to different situations. Is, you know, and it happens. Why? Because you have a guy who's this is his 4th game calling plays in the NFL versus a guy who's been doing it at a very, very high level. You know what I'm saying? One thing me and Boss was talking about this. We were talking about this earlier today. And what we were basically talking about is the fact that Sean Payton, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily, just like with Dak when in his rookie year, the Saints are in a mentality where it's like, we're going to win it however we need to win it. So, and the cool thing about those games is, it's hard to key in on one person because they didn't just flood us like with with Kamara. They didn't just flood us with a bunch of Kamara. Why? Because they couldn't. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't. They couldn't just flood us with a bunch of Michael Thomas. Because they couldn't. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, man, your defense and I'm going to be honest with you, even if Drew Brees plays in this game, I still believe that score is around the same amount of points because the defense was on their job, man. Salute to that defense, all around pressure. And we're going to talk about D-Law.
I want to say one more thing.
No, go ahead. Have your point. Go ahead.
Like one thing that I heard people say, and, a lot of y'all I know fighting with Saints fans right now, And one thing to remember, they say we had a lot of penalties, right? The Saints say that. I'm going to say this with Quinn. Quinn is the one that made y'all have a lot of penalties because if they didn't hold Quinn, he kills Teddy Bridgewater. The holding penalties against Quinn saved Teddy Bridgewater life.
72 was getting, I think his name was Fredericks. 72 got destroyed.
He was getting destroyed. So it was like he had to hold. 3 of those holds was really because it was ultimate domination on him. So the Saints fans trying to act like, well, we got a lot of bad penalties. No, you didn't. No, those penalties was basically you guys was super losing up front. Yeah. Especially coming from the right. So I want to definitely just kind of specify that, because it wasn't even just the sacks and the pressures, it was the penalties that he caused. So it's like, and a lot of us, and I would say none of us was expecting this. Now, some of us kind of debated, was he gonna be an 8-sack guy, 6-sack guy, 10-sack, but none of us was like, this is on a 15-sack pace right now.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna say it right now, man, because you always give me my credit when it's due, and I'm gonna give you yours. You know what I'm saying? You said this statement. You said the Hot Boys are going to be back when Quinn comes. That's what you said. I remember when you said that, and I was like, okay. But I'm gonna tell you guys, and we gonna talk about D-Law. And even though we got these topics on there, don't mean we gotta go in that order, because you already know this is our show, so we kind of flip. Yeah, we kind of do it how we do. We'll change an audible real quick. You know what I'm saying? But I was watching Cowboys news today, and I haven't verified this stat, but I'm pretty sure it's true. But they said D-Law is getting 36% double teamed right now, which is the highest by any player in the National Football League right now. Right. So imagine this. You have, and think about this, the scouting report on Quinn probably hasn't been, oh my God, he can be a game wrecker. Why? Because he's coming off a hand surgery. We traded him for a 6th-round draft pick. They didn't want him. Blase. He's about 29 years old, dang near 30 years old. So probably sure that before they come into this game, the scouting report is you could probably handle him with a halfway decent tackle. I'm pretty sure the scouting report is that. So guess what they do? They shift that line protection over to help what? That guy who's making $30 million this year in total money. Who? DeMarcus Lawrence. Right. So now you got Quinn. Think about this. There was 1 sack, actually 2, where Quinn had a free release. You want to know why? Because he beat his man off the move, and that help was on the other side, keeping my boy D-Law at bay. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. That is still not trying to give no excuse for my boy D-Law, because at that type of money that they're paying you, bruh, you have to be understandably, you gotta figure it out. Yeah, you just gotta kind of figure it out. Game changer at that money.
Yeah, cause see, I heard somebody say it best like this: when you getting that tank type money, they don't care if you're getting double team. You still got to make the play. What did Khalil Mack say?
Khalil Mack said, I got to get this thing. Not Khalil Mack, but it was Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald said this past weekend, he said, man, I got to figure it out. They said, you're getting double teamed. He said, man, I know, but I still got to figure it out.
Right. You still got to figure out. But the beautiful thing about Quinn is Quinn could have that effect that Amari Cooper had on the offense last year. See, when you added a real number one and a real threat, that took a lot of pressure off Zeke, right? And that also helped out Dak. So everybody benefited because of the additional talent. That's the only really reason why I said the Hot Boys will be back with Quinn. I wasn't just really trying to forecast that he was going to be so great. I just knew that he was going to be an upgrade to where you can't just double team Tank anymore. And I was also thinking the Hot Boys was going to return because that was seeing Crawford to his best place, which is the 3-tech. Yeah. So it's like everybody be sitting in their ideal places, and you can't single anybody now, right? So that's why I really predicted the return of the Hot Boys with the return of Quinn. So that's why I also believe he's going to have a domino effect that Cooper had, you know? So going forward, even though this loss tastes nasty, I mean, I hated the taste of this loss. You know, I wanted to taste the perfection with the other teams that's right now still in perfection. I wanted us still kind of in that ride, especially how we was hated on all off season. But at the same time, this sobers me up to say, you know what? The grass is truly greener, you know, especially when you look at what we all been waiting on. What was we saying game 1, 2, and 3? Where's the Hot Boys? They was here today. I mean, they was here yesterday big time. And so if we can keep LVE, if we can keep Jalen and the Hot Boys where they were, we finna be all right. I mean, we still go be on the 13-12 win pace, and we should be able to do it handily. And the last thing I'm gonna say, man, is and sometimes we need to get slapped. Sometimes a slap is good because we've been winning the first 3 games with bad execution, right? So we saw drops the first 3 games. Drops is not new. Mistakes is not new. But this game taught us this the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to secure the ball, Witten. You got to hold on extra tight, Zeke.
And
you know,
I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. That also goes for Ezekiel Elliott too. Like,
yeah,
you know, at the end of the day, like, you know what I'm saying?
I threw him in there. Yeah, and I'm gonna throw in Dak too. That throw to Cooper, Dak hone it in. You know, do what you was doing the first 3 games to where he's wide open, relax, and make that throw. You know, so I'm not giving anybody a pass. You know, Kellen Moore. It looked like he went back to Scott Linehan days. I know you have data that shows that our throws on first down went from like 67%, 64% game 2 to where we go again, leading off with the run almost every first down again, you know? And it was back to conservative football. And me and you also talked about last week, this was the game to me. I want us to come out throwing, you know, No, because to me, when we decided to go with the running game, we fell right into their hands, which is we're going to play slow and they was going to play slow. Both of us was playing for a low scoring game. You know what I mean? So it was like the first person to make a mistake was going to lose. And who was it? Us.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get why they was trying to run the. I understand why they was trying to run the ball. Although also too, because at the beginning of the game, this is my thing right here, right? Anytime you a team puts out film and the film says that it's predicated on you running the ball or you throw the ball and you go out there and you try to do that, once you get out there and you see that that's not working, that's where the coaching and that's where your common sense has to come for you to then abandon that and adapt to something else. Because going into this game, the film did say that you could run the ball on this front 4. But once the Dallas Cowboys got into this game and we realized that we could not run and we could not execute, what I don't like is the fact that we just got repetitive with it. And not even repetitive, but we almost got a sense of like entitlement. Like, we are the Dallas Cowboys. We are a running team. We are going to run the ball on you. And that is not football in 2019. 2019 is, yo, okay, hot man is hot. Keep getting the ball to this youngster if they're getting it, if they're moving within the tackles. Like, that's where offenses are in 2019. You know what I'm saying? And I was really, really big, and we're basically talking about our offense now. I was really, really big. You know, if you guys were watching the game feed while we had it on, one thing that I was preaching really, really big, and I was like, yo, we need to get on this play action. Is the play action, but the Dallas. 2 things that I noticed about watching this game last night. I didn't watch it like twice now. Well, 1, 2. Yeah, I watched it 2.5 times now. Well, 3 times. You know, outside of the original time, because the original time I don't count because I be all in my feelings, jumping everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But I'm serious, man. Like, it's crazy. But what I seen is, bro, there was no forget play action, bro. There was no motion. Like, there was no motion. And man, what people don't understand, what motion helps with Dak Prescott is this. When you motion, it's gonna move. The defense, the linebacker, or your safety's gonna move. Somebody's gonna move, and what that happens is that gives away the coverage. That allows you to even think about if you can take a shot downfield. If not, you're taking a 50-50 shot. Like, the motion is what gives you an extra leverage, because you be like, damn, these dudes is in one-on-one coverage. Okay, ooh, I can move this dude over here. Now I got Cooper over here by himself. I didn't really see any of that. And to be honest with you, that's not on Dak to call. That is that's going into the huddle. That's the play breakdown. I mean the play build up. I apologize for that. That's the play build. So whoever's sending that play in, they're going to be the one that's going to dictate if there's going to be some type of motion, if there's going to be some type of ghost screen or something on it. And we didn't really do that. Like, honestly, what this really felt like to me is it felt like preseason game number 4. Like, we weren't trying to show anything.
See, and
you feel me, Boss Cowboy? Like, it felt like we were
interrupted you, because you know what I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say it felt like we was looking past the Saints,
Yeah,
bro.
it felt like we were just not trying to show something. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, because it looked like we was looking at Green Bay like we gotta focus on them because they're the real team. That's the starting Aaron Rodgers versus we're going against a backup Teddy Bridgewater with not a lot of game experience. So we're gonna treat this almost like the New York Giants and the Redskins, to where we had a confidence that we was gonna be able to execute our game plan, and we did. Versus those teams. But with this team, you got to also take into account that you have a masterful coach over there. You know what I mean? So this is not the team to where you want to hide your hand. You want to go out there and still put up your same offense in the same show. You don't want to try to pretend like we're going to be a running team because we're not trying to show Green Bay real film. No, we should have took the Saints just as serious as we're taking Green Bay. That was the exact feeling I had, especially when you talk about the lack of, motion and the different things that we usually do to try to get a indication of what the defense is doing. We didn't do any of that stuff. And you're not the only one saying it. Everybody that watched us said this looked like we rewound time. And we went back to a little bit of Scott Linehan to where we was going to line up and we was going to run our offense and not try to have any kind of indications of what's going on at all with the motions and different things that we was doing the first 3 games. So I think I think we took them for granted, man. I think, and not the defense, because the defense, I think LVE and Jalen, it's been a lot of noise the first 3 games about them. And it's like they heard it because they showed up, bruh. They showed up. I mean, the way they was stuffing the run, I was so proud of LVE and Jalen. I was like, oh, third and ones, they stopping balls like, you know what I mean? I was like, I ain't worried about defense this game. The letdown was the people that been carrying us the full first part of the season, and that was the offense. It was bad.
Hey, and I'm going to keep it real, man. You got to throw a little love to Sean Lee, too, because Sean Lee probably played one of his better games that I've seen Sean Lee play. Sean Lee played some really good play.
I will give Sean Lee a little bit of love. You're right.
And also Joe Thomas, because I don't know if a lot of people have noticed. But I don't know if a lot of people have noticed, but Jalen Smith is only really being used to rush the passer right now. Like, he's only being used to rush the pass. There's a lot of times where Jalen Smith is on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? And what they're basically doing is they're using Jalen Smith to rush the passer or to defend the pass, and then they're using Joe Thomas on guaranteed run plays. On plays where they feel that there's more of a 70% chance of running, they have Joe Thomas in there playing. You know what I'm saying? And, I like it. I mean, why not? I mean, you just gave him this big contract. You know what I'm saying? If there's no drop-off, then, and think about this. When you want Jalen Smith rushing the passer the way he's rushing the passer so violently, especially to have all that energy, man, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And
then I'm going to say this too, man. Joe Thomas needs to start over Lee, man. I'm sorry. Like, I've been waiting to say it. I ain't said it the whole season. But now, man, I've seen enough. It's time to let Joe Thomas emerge, in my opinion. Like, Sean Lee had a better game. But the person that's out there from special teams, and every time you put him out there for any type
playing
of
action, think about this. He's playing all 3 linebacker positions too. Because he's out there playing Mike he plays Mike, he plays all of it, bro. He basically rotates between all 3 positions. And honestly, it's funny because if you probably looked at the snaps, I would say that Joe Thomas is probably even playing more than Sean Lee. I would probably think that he is playing more physical snaps than Sean Lee is.
It's not going to happen because, we not going to unseat Sean Lee. But at the same time, man, my eyes is telling me Joe Thomas is right now the better player out those 2. I think Sean Lee has lost a step. I'm going to be a little bit more patient with Sean Lee. But as of right now, I'm about 70-30 leaning on it's gone time. If we trying to really advance this team to be prepared to be true contenders in January, right? You have to start working up the players that you can see carrying us during the later parts of the year.
Yeah.
To where, because you don't want to do like what we usually do to Jordan Lewis and throw him out there and say be a hero. You want to kind of work up their confidence. We did that with Gallup last year. We worked up his confidence. We worked up Jarwin's confidence last year. So by the time he was in the Giants game, week 17, he was the man. But we let him get there. And it's the same thing we have. Don't throw Joe Thomas out there because Lee just has another freak injury. He's starting to show he's earning it because you're seeing him on every special teams.
Yep.
He's making a ton of tackles anytime he's in the game, whether it's special teams or if you just throw him out there spontaneously. You know, he's looking like the man, and he's a killer hitter too. So, yeah, I'm starting to throw my hat out there for Joe Thomas now like I'm throwing my hat out there for Jordan Lewis.
Yeah, man. And, you know, I mean, and the good thing, I mean, one thing I love about Joe is he's younger and he's cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So the money makes sense, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, you know, that rotation for a year is going to be nasty. But, I mean, the Cowboys, Joe Thomas is definitely making him a, you know what I mean? That's a, you know, like I said earlier, if you look at the snaps, I would almost guarantee that Joe's definitely playing more than Sean Lee at this point. And to be honest with you, he should be. You know what I'm saying? He should be.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, I mean, the Cowboys are just using him more. But, I mean, to think of the fact that he's playing all three of your linebacker positions and playing, I mean, that's a lot of assignments, man. That's a lot of knowing that's three whole different assignments you have to know, plus your special team keys. That lets me know that is a very smart football player. Hey, man, before while we've been talking about these hot boys for a little bit, we talked about we kind of talked about D-Law for a little bit. Let's go ahead and talk about this Saints D-line and why they frustrated Ezekiel Elliott so badly, man. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on this? On that?
I think it was a revenge game, bro. It was what we predicted when we was talking about them as one of our most dangerous games. I mean, as soon as the schedule came out, you don't never put whether it's going to be a loss or not. You put whether it'll be a concern or not.
I put a question mark. I put 13 and 3 question marks. If you were been following me, you guys know I put 13 and 3 question marks, and this was definitely a question mark.
This was a question mark, and just looking at it from common sense. You know, we're going into knowing that these guys was in the NFC Championship game. You have to respect their talent. You have to respect their coaching, and you have to respect a man's pride. So the fact that we kind of took them off their hot streak last year in Dallas and kind of embarrassed them, it's certain teams that you know you're going to circle on the calendar just because of events like that. And that's one of the reasons why they came out motivated as we came out motivated last year. We didn't like the talk that they was going to come in our house and blow us out, just like they didn't like the talk of what happened last year and us being favored, you know? So, you know, we've been saying all offseason that this is a revenge game for them. So they was extra motivated, you know, and they actually, just to be frank and honest and not just pull no punches, for the most part, they whooped our offensive lines, you know what, bro, just straight up. And surprisingly,
in the run game,
and off the edges, they was whooping Fredericks and Zach Martin, bro. I mean, I'm just gonna say what I saw. I mean, they was winning up the middle, man, like straight up. They left Zeke no kind of penetration holes where we usually able to go right at you. It wasn't the case this time. It was no love in that middle, and something is wrong with Zach Martin, man. I'm just being honest, man. Like, even on that last drive when Dak got hurt, Zach Martin got
when T. Smith got hurt.
Yeah, he got slaughtered, and it's one of those things to where, yeah, you missed a lot of practices because something is wrong. Like, something is wrong, and so you ask me, what do I think about their D-line? I think their D-line is good. I think our offensive line is better, but their D-line was better than our offensive line Sunday night.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you to give our offensive line some kudos, they only gave up 1 sack, man. So, you know, they only gave up 1 full sack. But I will tell you guys right now, it is amazing what money will do, because currently the best offensive lineman on the Dallas Cowboys is La'el Collins. And I will fight you in the back of the street with my shirt off if you want to argue me about that. But the film says the film says right now that La'el Collins is your best offensive lineman, and he is definitely playing like it. Playing like it. On that final sack where T. Smith got hurt, they did a twist, and Fredericks didn't. I mean, he did. You know, I don't know. I couldn't. You know, when I get the coach's film, I'll be able to look really, really, really zoom in and see what it is, but to see if it was but he just got beat, man. He got beat at the end of the play. He's looking this way, and his man's they twisted. As soon as they twisted, La'el Collins was working his man. Zach Martin had a pretty decent gift on his, but Fredericks the guy just slipped right past him. what I'm saying? Dak did a pretty good job of even trying to step away from it. But when you get pressure up the middle, even Tony Romo said, when you get pressure up the middle, you're going down. That's how you get hurt.
Had
you know what I'm
stand
saying?
in the pocket and actually make some throws. He gave up a sack, but he was getting hit too. Like he got hit a lot actually releasing the ball, which showed his strength. You know what I mean? Because some of them he couldn't step into the throw at all. It was like I got to get it there, and like literally taking the hit, he's releasing the ball. You know, and they was getting them from a lot of times up the middle. Now, I think it was one of those humbling games. I mean, you know, you ain't gonna always win them. Sometimes the offensive line go get whooped too. But this was a time to me that in which it happened. Like the same old Dak that was sitting in them pockets, able to take naps the first 3 games. Now he was a little bit under duress, just a little bit. Wasn't like last year, but he was under duress. He fought through it, but it wasn't like the first 3 games. They D-line played pretty good to me. You know, and I definitely agree with you on the Liel, bro. Like Liel is like one of the most pleasant surprises of the season so far, bro. He is a super pleasant surprise to see him mature into that position, bro.
Yep.
And the best thing about it is that he was doing it mostly all night one-on-one.
Yep, with Cam Jordan.
He wasn't getting no help on Jordan, bro. It was mano a mano, man on man.
And he kept him out the game. Kept him out the game.
Yes, bro.
Didn't really have one play.
Yeah. It's an audible, but it just kind of hit my mind because I don't see it on your list, but I just want to say this real quick. Lattimore actually played good, man.
Yeah, that's a part of Saints. I mean, that was a part of Saints. Well, yeah, I thought I put Saints defense.
It's an audible a little bit, but it just detoured. Like they came to play, bro.
Yeah,
like just giving them props, bro. Like a little bit, like. You know, when we talking about their defense, that's why I brought him up because he's a part of that defense too. Yeah. And it was like, honestly, I said target him because going into this game, he led the league in yards.
He had 333 yards he had given up coming into this game. And I'm going to tell you something too, Boss Cowboy. Yeah. What they did in this game is they basically took Lattimore out of the defense. He basically took him, detached him out of the defense and said, you're going to go wherever Amari Cooper goes. And he only had one job. So think about this. When, you know, Lattimore's probably been in coverage a lot of these times where he's giving up these yards, where he's looking at a field where, I mean, when you put a dog on a dog and you say all you have is this guy all game, be prepared for a dog fight. Like, think about the very, very first play of the game. He smacked them. Yeah. Like, did nobody else notice that? I think I'm like, what? The very first play when on that incompletion, the first thing Lattimore did was smack them.
Yeah.
And basically let them know right out the gate, this is what it's going to be all game.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys we need to be like, I know we don't want to have games where we're just targeting one guy, but there needs to be those times where we return fire with fire. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Facts. Yeah. So, I mean, just all together, if you look at our offense, you know, I grade them as a D or C. Just all of them, you know, everybody, top down from OC all the way to the QB, to the offensive line, to the weapons and drops. Just too much. Fumbles, just too much. I mean, we didn't even mention cheating. We probably ain't going to talk about that. Just focusing on just pure execution. Our offense didn't execute. This is a type film you learn from. You grow mentally tougher from. You figure out that the lead is not going to lay down because you got a star on your helmet and that power rankings got you top 3. You know what I mean? And that you still got to do the little things right. You got to look it in, tighten it in with, and you got to secure that ball all the way to the ground, Zeke, and you got to look your receiver all the way in his eye and complete that pass in the end zone, Dak. I mean, and you got to be aggressive as you was, Kellen Moore. I mean, all the stuff that they have to return back to and stay that way. That's what they did when we was 3-5. When we got shook up by the Titans, we took that slap, pop, and we said, we going to have to improve or we're going to be out. And so this is one of those improve or out. You know what I mean? And I'm going to take it like it's a good thing that it happened to us early so that we can continue our role.
Yeah, and I want to tell you something else that Kellen Moore needs to learn how to do. He needs to learn how to get his superstars going. You know what I'm saying? Like Amari Cooper makes more money than all the other wide receivers for a reason. So at some point, you're gonna have to like show the NFL why he makes $13.9 million and why the rest of these guys are backups. You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of the reason why Amari Cooper was kind of like in his feelings when he was out there pushing off on Lattimore. Why? One, you're not getting the ball really. Why? Because we're running the ball. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's really getting the ball. And when you are getting the ball, the plays they're not doing anything to highlight what you do. A lot of curls and stuff. So, I think that's something else that I know we want to be healthy with our distribution of the football, but at some point, you got to let your superstar be a superstar, man. Like there should have been a time where we should have just been like, yo, let's try to do our best to get, And then another thing, when you see that Lattimore is freaking carrying Amari Cooper, why are we not doing anything to like get him off of him? Like, yo, like run, like you could, there's all types of things. Get Amari Cooper on Eli Apple. Like we should have been trying to do things to try to get him, running curls, running all types of things that you could, crossing routes, anything to try to get him to move off Amari Cooper. Like we didn't like help Amari Cooper. Like we basically just told Amari Cooper, go get open.
Beat him.
On every single play though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot to ask, considering that Lattimore is a pretty damn good player himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was actually surprised when I saw that.
Like, we didn't help him. And guess who we used to do that with? You know who we used to do that to? Dez Bryant. And we'd come back and people be like, why don't we move Dez around? And people be like, yeah, I would love to get moved around. Like, help the dude out, man. Help him out.
No, they didn't. And then another thing, I don't think we did a good job of keeping that defense honest, bro. We didn't because we used
no motion. There you go.
No motion, and we didn't take vertical shots, bro. It was almost like that Scooby-Doo show where they pull off and say, "Who are you really?" And you pull off the Kellen Moore mask and the Scott Linehan, like, "Damn, you back?" That's exactly what it looked like. We didn't take any vertical shots to keep them honest, so that didn't help Zeke either. You know what I mean? At all, like you do, and it's like, okay, we got a winning formula. I think, and that's why when in my writings when I recapped the game, I was saying, did we go ahead and accept that we're a 21st century team and a pass first offense? Maybe we have to accept that, you know what I mean, and say, let's just be that to where we're a pass first offense and we run off of that. Because when we was running off the pass, we looked like we was keeping teams off balance. When we went to the Scott Linehan style again, everybody, first of all, recognized it because all of the fans are saying the same thing. So that means we seeing the same thing. You know what I mean? And then we just wasn't as fluid, in my opinion, So.
Yeah, man. So, now my boy Roy is saying, where was Tony Pollard? I'm going to be honest with you guys. In a game where they don't get Zeke going, I don't think they have the cojones to be like, give the ball to Tony, see what he can do. I don't think they have that right now.
Yeah.
Like, like when Steph Curry may not be hitting, they'll be like, all right, F it, run the offense through the other light-skinned boy. Through Clay. Like, I don't think they have that right now. Like, I know he's the wonder kid, but I just don't think he has it in him to do that right now. But I would have liked it to see. I would have liked to see a little bit of it, but.
I agree with what they did, man. In this dog fight, keep your seasoned vets in, bro. Just in my opinion, like everybody, and we all see that Pollard is a baller, and we love the ramp up of him last week versus Miami. But they managing his career right, bro, in my opinion. Don't put him in this dog fight to where the crowd is like drunk and loud and you can't even hear anything. Not yet. No. Now go with the guy that's been your vet, your dog, your secure, the person that's been in these big games, Zeke. And as long as it was close, no, we're not developing you this game, Pollard. No.
That's why we paid him $90 million.
Yeah, no, this is not a developmental game. We go get ahead of somebody and we go ramp you up slowly like we did Gallup and Jones.
I think we saw
by
the first
end of the season, that's when I want him in his vet mode. Because, see, Zeke also didn't get treated like that, if we remember right, because they was running Morris a lot his rookie year, to get him ramped up. But by week 5, week 6, then it was Zeke on all the way on. But nah, man, this wasn't no time to go out there like, Pollard, go save it for us. What made you think that was going to happen anyway? Like, he hasn't done enough yet to put that much on him yet, in my opinion. You know, just one touchdown versus Miami, I say simmer down. I love the plan on how they didn't just throw him out there this time.
The only thing I would have liked to have seen is anything that was off tackle. I would have liked them to see. I would have liked to see Tony Pollard catch some sweet plays off tackle. Like I would have liked to see that. Why? Because their front four was doing a good job of getting upfield. So why not just get the ball out quicker? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have minded, like, you know, a little sprinklage here and there. You know what I'm saying? But I totally want to 110% agree with you as far as, like, keeping your vets in and, you know, winning this game with your veterans. You know what I'm saying? That's your game plan. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. If we're in a position where we need Tony Pollard or Michael Gallup to play to win a game, we're in a bad position. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you're in a bad position. You have a $13.9 million wide receiver and a $15 million running back. Like, don't talk to me about backups.
If you go put Michael Pollard, I mean, if you go put not Michael Pollard, if you go put Pollard in, Tony Pollard, I'm sorry, y'all, don't go crazy. But yeah, if you go put Tony Pollard in, you better do something that we have never seen before out of him.
Yeah, because Tony Pollard running into that is getting less.
Do something. You better go do a jet sweep. You got to do something that we've never seen, right? Yeah. Or don't do it. Don't in this game. I would have been upset if you pull him in the game to do what you getting ready to use Zeke for. I'd have been like, nah, bruh, no, not this game, not the way that they was motivated. Everybody knew that this was a revenge game, so this had playoff kind of feel to it, to where everybody was amped up for a dog fight. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, not yet. Like, save him, save the pup, man.
Yeah, Roxy said, over Roy, Texas 26 over at YouTube says there was no screens, no imagination. No imagination, no screens. True. Let me see what else he said. But no creative play calling.
Ran some good screens. The Saints ran some damn good. And they always do, bro. We said that last week. We say, man, they broke down that the Saints have about 20 different ways they'll run a screen on you. Dallas need to just take 5 of them, 10 of them. That tight end screen where they use Kamara as a decoy was so genius, bro. You know, I mean, it's and that. Yeah, you're right. It was no screens, bro. I think we was looking at Green Bay. I'm almost certain now. The more people comment, the more you talk, the more I hear, the more I look at how we went from play action and throwing on first down to just safe runs on first down. We was looking past these balls, brother.
Kermit White over on Facebook says Sean Payton and Dennis Allen just straight took Kellen Moore and Garrett to school, plain and simple. Kellen Moore never adjusted at all to what was going. No moving Amari Cooper around or getting everybody touches on offense like first weeks 1 through 3.
Yeah, I mean, everything we just said.
I was about to say that's pretty much everything we just said.
Yep. So that means we all seeing it. When the fans and us and everybody, we all on the same page. It's what it is. It's, you know, because we all saw that no pre-snap movement, all the stuff that we was doing, we went away from.
Yeah, man. So hey, on this next subject, I want to talk about our quarterback, man. Talk about the play of that one Dak Prescott, man, because I think I think more importantly. Like before, I hate saying like who's at fault for this game. Like I don't like saying that, but I mean we give so much love and privy towards when we get victories. When it's a victory, we know exactly who to get a win to. But when it's a loss, though, you know, actually before we talk about Dak Prescott, let's talk about one redhead stepchild named Jason Garrett. There's people out there right now today, man, that are saying that Jason Garrett needs to be fired, man. And I know this is a kind of a moot point because we got a bunch of educated fans, Cowboy fans over here. But I just need to talk about this conversation, man, because
let's do it, bro.
I think we need to grow past the fire Jason Garrett every time something bad happens. Like, I think the game plan that was put together, for the most part, was probably about 60% correct. Why? Because you went into New Orleans a hostile, probably, and I'm going to keep it real with you guys. If you're looking at our schedule, this is probably the best defense we're going to play all year. Like Minnesota's defense, you know what I'm saying? It's Kirk Cousins. But any team that has Kirk Cousins on it, I'm sorry. I just don't. Yeah. I just like
New
Dak
England,
whoops you.
New England gonna be tough too.
Yeah, New England is gonna be tough, but man, I think as far as front, because this is the thing, right? Like
you saying talent.
Yeah, talent now, and I know Chicago, and I know Chicago is gonna have a squad, but Chicago ain't got no quarterback. So that's gonna change the whole dynamics of that whole game.
I was sticking consistent to where you said best defense. I was just kind of going through them in my head. So I think New England, and I think you're right, the Bears. Those gonna be two tough defenses. But talent-wise, on paper, I agree. This was the best one on paper.
Yeah, and think about this. This is a defense that's built. This is kind of a defense that's built to do what we wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have the standout cornerback, but we could have attacked him a little bit better. Maybe we could have did it. So, I mean, if you say that Jason Garrett put a game plan together to go in here and attack this offense and attack this defense, you know, they take a Saints offense, only limit them to 0 touchdowns. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? Your defense allowed them 0 touchdowns. Special teams, I think, did a phenomenal job. Why? Because there was big play ability in number 11. And the special teams did a really good job of not allowing him to put us in a bad position, except for that one time.
You got going only once. That's good, though.
Yeah, but I mean, that guy's a weapon.
Super weapon.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to echo you a little bit on Jason Garrett from a different point of view. I see growth actually in Gary, man. I'm just being honest, bro. And I'm going to tell you from some of the things that I loved, bro. He went off.
Yeah.
On when that 2 seconds only went off the clock. I've never seen him that mad, bro. And I like it. Usually it was one of those to where he looked like he more so kind of talking to the ref. I saw real emotion in our coach, bro. And I've been saying that for a long time. Like, you got to sell to these refs almost like you owe me for that. You know what I mean? You stole that from me. And that's why, I'm not going to lie, that's why I think New Orleans getting some of these old ticky-tack funky stuff is because they put it out there all off season. Y'all stole it from us. We supposed to, if y'all would have called it, pass interference. Yeah. But now what they getting all these calls, all the benefit of the doubt, Zeke arm down, and they like, no, it's not. You know what I mean? Cooper push off. He ain't never had a push off call his whole career. All of a sudden you giving it to him. That's the effect of how Sean Payton went off and raised hell and made it. But we seeing that with Jason Garrett.
But I like it too.
And he was aggressive. Yeah. So he went for it on 4th and 2.
He did.
So all that stuff would be, he's conservative. He's scared.
No, he's not.
Like, if he's made the changes, why in the world do we not give him the credit for the changes that we wanted to see?
Exactly. And I want to touch on something a little bit even. I want to touch on something that's just like the hugest, like, hypocritical thing that I've ever heard in my life. Oh my God, I want to see emotion out of Jason Garrett. Well, guess what? Everybody in Dallas that shows emotions gets fired or released. Do you remember the last coach who showed you emotion on the sidelines? You know who it was? It was one Chris Richard. And you know what Stephen Jones said? That's not what we're looking for in a coach.
Right. Yeah.
So it's funny how, like, you guys want Jason Garrett to be dead. Y'all basically want Jason Garrett to be Dez Bryant. Like, that's not what Jerry Jones wants in your head coach. And to be honest with you, the real political way, you really don't want that. Why? Because you want a coach who can appease to a referee. You know what I'm saying? Not a coach that's out there pissing them off. Why? Because what calls are you going to get? And then also, can I ask you guys a question? What benefit does it get for me to berate my kids in public, in front of everybody? How does that help my child perform in public better? Okay, so how does it help a grown man to berate a grown man on national TV in a Dallas Cowboy? Then you want him to go out there and go play better. Like, what I think Jason Garrett does is what he needs to get his team going. Every kid doesn't like. Honestly, I don't think that this is the team that you need to yell at. That's not how they're built. Like, when we had a Dez on this team, when we had explosive personalities, like, think about this. Our most explosive personality is who? D-Law. And when does he really say anything? At a press conference. That's it. That's it. Our best player doesn't talk to. Our best player, who, Ezekiel Elliott, he don't even have press conferences. Zeke don't even talk.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this, man. I feel wholeheartedly, man, they did us bad, bro. I don't never talk about getting cheated, bro.
I don't want to go there, man. I don't want to go there, because they have bad calls on both sides.
Listen for 1 second, bro. For 1 second.
I don't want to go ahead.
No, just for 1 second, bro. This is what really pissed me off about this game, bro. The last drive, we got 2 reviews that helps the defense greatly, and those reviews came from New York, bro. That pissed me off.
It's a human. What are you supposed to say? It's human error, bro.
The reviews was crazy, bro. They stole the momentum of a 2-minute drive, and on top of that, gave Cooper on a 2-minute drive pass interference.
That was on Cooper, though. I'm sorry, that was on Cooper.
But it's like three on the final drive.
But this is my thing. I can't. This is my thing, right? The first pass interference on Cooper was not him. Cooper, in my opinion, was trying to turn around, and he threw his hands out to try to move himself around, to kind of get that momentum and throw himself around. So that one was bogus. But I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. You know what I'm talking about? That second one was a clear push off. It was clear. The thing about it is this. In smaller games, guess what? Referees might let you get away with stuff. But you're down by 2. And you're in New Orleans, where they cry about everything. So, bruh, a referee is for sure gonna be out there like this. Look, they got their hands flipped up like this.
Yeah. They was they out
there on tweaker eyes.
Trigger happy. They was flag happy.
Yeah.
New Orleans, bro. They was pro New Orleans, bro.
But you know what you do? You execute. You catch the ball on 32. That's what you do.
Point of why I like the emotion out of Jason Garrett. Because if you don't make no noise, like I've been saying all offseason, what? The squeaky oil gets what? The squeaky wheel gets what? The squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? So, Sean, he made a lot of noise over that call that they missed. So, and I'm seeing a trend of where Seattle's getting calls. They getting favored, and I think the refs are antsy to help them right now.
And this is what I tell you guys. The Dallas Cowboys had, I think it was 45 yards in penalties. The New Orleans Saints had 115 yards in penalties. So I can't sit up here and be like, they overcame 115 yards. Almost 65 yards more than us in penalties, but we couldn't overcome the penalties that we had. To be honest with you, on that final drive, the most devastating thing that happened, honestly, is that freaking sack. Also, something else that was mismanaged was the timeout before that freaking sack. We burned the timeout because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. And think about this. If we have that timeout, that's the timeout you need to get up to the field. Because the only thing that sucks about a really, really big play is, guess what? Everybody's still on the damn 30-yard lines. Nobody ran. You want to know why? Because you can't have your offensive lineman can't run down the field. Why? Because that's a penalty. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, once Cobb catches the ball, he needs to understand that they're going to purposely stand over you.
Right.
Bruh, you just can't just be waiting there on the ground for someone to they're literally standing, the dude has his lap, Cobb, I'm coming, I'm keeping 100, bro. He had better he got a cup. If you stand over a grown man like that, you had better, I promise you, I put this on my kids, you had better have a cup on, because I'm coming up. Nothing but everything. I'm coming up. Wow! What the hell you mean? You better get up off me, boy.
See, I commend you for that, West Coast, because that's the real Cowboy spirit, to where we don't cry about games being stolen, except for the Dez catch. For the most part, we always pretty much cheated, but we always still expected to win. I would still say more of it was our execution than us getting cheated.
That 3rd and 2, oh my God! Them 32s. How we just drop it, man?
Yeah, dropping it. Yeah, like the Cobb drop. Yeah, it was in the, we can talk about a whole bunch of stuff more so that we didn't do right than the actual times to where they had some very questionable calls. But I just want to acknowledge that I did see those too. I saw them, and I agree with them that they was questionable. So yeah, man. So But like, let me look at our next points real quick.
I love it too though, because like people ask us, like I look back on this and I say, was this a good loss? I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you can learn a lot from a loss. I definitely believe that. I also believe that the Dallas Cowboys understand that, you know, we took a pretty damn good punch from this Saints. We took a pretty damn good hard punch from this Saints team. And at the end of a loss, man, you still see that your offense has the ball trying to score and win you a game. Like, if you go look at some of these other teams' losses, some of these guys have losses where the game was over in the third quarter. Like, one thing I love about this team, man, is they were still competitive all the way down to the end. And guess what? That's your freaking head coach, man. Like, you got to give your head coach credit for that, man, because at the end, in every one of these games, we're either winning, the game is over, or we're in position to win. And to be honest with you, that's the only thing you can really ask for every week. You know what I'm saying? You either blow a team out, or you're down a couple points trying to win a game. Why? Because this is the professional football league. Like the NFL.
NFL.
Yeah.
And one more thing I want to kind of add to this so that we kind of can, you know, put our ropes, the nooses, take it off our necks from those who want to hang yourself. It's a lot of good teams had bad games too. It's just some of them won them. Kansas City, bad game. Mahomes had one. He wasn't the Mahomes that we've been seeing.
Tom Brady,
bad game. He was not the Brady we've been seeing. I mean, just every now and then we got to kind of give ourselves room to sometimes grow during the season. Yeah. Right? Tom
Brady should have lost that game. If the quarterback doesn't go down, they lose that game.
Exactly.
They lose that game. Because the backup had 3 shots and couldn't. Yeah. And think about this. They had 3 shots to get in the end zone and could not. And I don't think that my quarterback played bad. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I think it wasn't Dak's.
Tom Brady played bad.
But he didn't play bad either. It was a winnable game. He did enough to win, and he also did enough to lose. I say that. I can say that. You know, being fully balanced on Dak on this one. You know, and you said, what did I think about Dak? I mean, that kind of explains right there. Is, you know, it was okay. He wasn't game 1, 2, and 3 Dak, but he was Dak. Like the biggest miss was the Cobb.
Yeah,
that was the big miss. And see, even they talk about how hard that throw is. Well, for some people, well, I've seen him too many times make that throw, rolling to his left, squaring his shoulders. The throw to Beasley last year, week 17, was way harder. Way harder.
He was running towards the guy.
I've seen Dak make that throw too many times to give him a pass. I'm sorry. You know, period. Like, I mean, I still expect you when your receiver has 3 steps on the man in the end zone to get that on in there. You know, as a franchise quarterback, I'm not going to give him a pass on that. Yeah. Period.
And then also,
it was still an okay game. It was just an okay game by him.
Something else also that I'm starting to see that's making it seems very, very noticeable. Like, there are games in Dak's career where I can clearly notice that someone told him not to run the ball, man.
Oh, bro, I'm finna walk away, bro.
Because this game and that Washington game from last year had that same damn stench on it. When I'm looking at Dak and I'm like, bro, I know you see that lane.
Bro, that was 3rd and 2, bro. You did.
But he stepped back. I'm thinking like, Dak, like I feel like sometimes there's too much. And I'm gonna tell you, can I tell you something?
Yes,
this is something that the Cowboys said today. I mean, on their show last night. They said that the Cowboys have 4 quarterbacks on their team right now. You have Jason Garrett. You have the tight end coach, Nasser. You have Kellen Moore. And then you have John Kitna. And they were saying how Dak has all this quarterbacks around him. And I'm thinking, like, that could be a good thing. But what happens when that's a wrong thing? Because none of them dudes are like ballers like Dak. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it and I'm like, I can clearly tell that this game plan, or maybe no one told him, or maybe they just said that's not going to be our priority this week. But Dak has to be able to use any tool in his arsenal, just like Teddy Bridgewater. Man, Teddy Bridgewater said, man, he buckled that knee down and took off running, man. He said, I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, they was moving Teddy B like he didn't have a gruesome injury just a year and a half ago. Sean Payton said, man, I don't care about that.
You know who taking off every time it's 3rd and 9 and he see the C's part? Russell Wilson.
You
know who taking off every time it's 3rd and 2 and he see that he can go get
Cam Newton.
Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? And Watson, right? Even Allen, right? It's somebody.
Oh yeah, the boy from Buffalo?
Yes, he gone.
Oh yeah, he gone. He gone.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even thinking twice. It's like, and to your point, when they, because they obviously was covering downfield good. If you doing like this all day, and it's 3rd and 2, sometimes you got to say to yourself, hey man, I'm gonna give this about 1 or 2 reads, and I'm
going 3rd and 2. Like that's and boss. That's what, hey man, you made. I love doing shows with you, man, because I be thinking about stuff in the middle of the show, man. Like that is such a phenomenal point you said about the 3rd and 2, because like, bro, like there was times where I just knew. Last week, I just knew. Oh yeah, 3rd and 2, that gone. Like they think it's a pass, he gone.
Yeah.
Like
he'll sit there. He will.
Yes.
He'll sit there too in 3rd and 2, and it'll open up for him. He'll still be.
And he gonna tuck that thing and he gone. Yeah. There was not. My boy Jamal said we use 0 RPOs. Like this game really felt like that Tennessee Titans game, preseason game number 4, when we was literally not trying to show anything. Like it literally felt like we have our playbook A, that's like alpha, that's the score, and then we have our playbook B that we're gonna run when we just want to barely win a game and bring it down to a kick. Because at no point it felt like we were trying to pull away from this team. In weeks 1 through 3, even when the game was close, it felt like the Dallas Cowboys are trying to pull away. Why? By the big throws. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing that pisses me off, if you're gonna run the ball consecutively, yo, run some damn time off the clock. How do you run the ball and still not run no time off the clock?
Man, my thing
is horrible.
How do you run the ball like that and don't play action?
Because they probably felt they hadn't earned it.
We know the play action data too. They play action was way down.
Weak.
What was they doing game 1? Play action to death, bro. They was throwing play action like even when a running back didn't even go for the fake. They would just put it down.
Yeah, Dak just
And nobody even knew he faking it like it's a run, bro. And they was biting on it. It was crazy. They didn't do that. Like you ran the ball, you committed to the run the way that you did versus the Saints, and you didn't run no play actions, bro. Come on, man. I mean, they ran some, but it was way under the norm from the first 3 games. Way under the norm. It's like you're right. It was and it's starting to really calcify, in my opinion, that they was looking past the Saints. I think they thought Teddy Bridgewater is a backup quarterback who was doing a lot of dinking and dunking versus Seattle. We think we're going to be able to whoop them pretty easily without showing much. I swear, to me, that's what it looked like, and we paid for it.
Yeah. Something else that I noticed while watching this game over last night a couple times is there was only one time where we had a back-to-back spread formation. Like, there was never a time where we can literally we would spread, and then we would zing it, right? We would close it right back up. Yeah. Like, there was never a time where we came out there with, like, multiple spreads for a formation. And there was really never a time where we actually even ran out of the spread formation. Like, we made this game very easy for the Saints to beat us.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't try to, they were in cover 2 the entire night. Like, they basically said, run the ball on us. Try. Mm-hmm. Try to run the ball on us. And then there was times where they were so obvious that we were running the ball that they didn't even bring the safety up. Like, I thought there was a lot of safety in the box, but there wasn't. There was a lot of straight up, just them getting after it.
Yeah, I think we was smelling ourselves, drinking our Kool-Aid, man. And one of the highlights that I like, though, is that we definitely got the formula on Kamara. And the formula, which I was surprised to see, West Coast, was the same as last year, Jordan Lewis. They went and got Jordan Lewis again and said, when it matters most, you got him. And it worked. So, like, if I'm looking forward and saying I might see this team again, I want to take that away as a major plus. That Jordan Lewis is that dependable, that they put him on the best athlete on their team. And it was shutdown action. Like, whenever Jordan Lewis was on Kamara, they didn't throw. They didn't test it at all, bro.
Yeah.
And that's a win for us, especially if anybody went and scouted them and how they used him versus Seattle. Yeah, that's a very big plus for us. A very big plus. Because I know that was one of our bullets, so I wanted to get that in. It's kind of like my assessment on how we counted Kamara. I'll get that an A plus. A plus.
Yeah, I mean, Kamari had his plays, but like I kept saying, man, there could not be an opportunity for him to put his fingerprint on this game. And like, when you really think about it, like, no Saints really put their fingerprint on this game. Why? Because they didn't score a touchdown. Like, to be honest with you, I think they got the win, but offensively, I'm pretty sure they're just as pissed off as we are. Why? Because you were at home and you let a team come into your house and limit you to 4 field goals. What if your field goal kicker has an off night? You know what happens? You probably lose that game. You know what I'm saying? If your kicker misses one of those kicks, you lose that game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what they game planned around. That's not what they put to a week in and getting ready for the Dallas Cowboys. And to be honest with you, let's just be real. When they play the Dallas Cowboys again, this is also going to be unusable film. Why? Because I think they might be, I think the film is out there on how to stop Ezekiel Elliott. Like, I think the film is out there on how to stop a great running back. I just think you can stop a great running back. But the goal to it is Zeke is supposed to have help in what? In play calling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's supposed to have help in that play calling. That play calling is supposed to help him. And I'm going to be honest with you, there was not one time where I was like, oh, we passing. Oh, no, we running the ball. Not one time. Like, you know what I'm saying? And think about this. Like, that's the real reason why Jason Garrett lost. That's the real reason why Jason Garrett lost his play calling ability. Is why? Because the running game struggled. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen with Kellen Moore, but I'm just being honest with you. Like, a part of the reason where Todd Gurley was so good is because they were throwing a lot of passes to Todd Gurley. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick, I want to read a real good comment by a supporter, Roy Banner. He said, I still fully believe we were the better team. We just stepped on ourselves from the top to the bottom. I absolutely agree, Roy. Absolutely agree. I mean, we was the better team. And I'm going to be just a little bit more specific. We stepped on ourselves offensively. Defensive was great. It was offensively we stepped on ourselves, and I'm gonna take exactly what you said from the top to the bottom, and I'm literally saying from Kellen Moore all the way to Dak, all the way to Cobb, all the way to Amari, our offensive line, Zeke, Witten, everybody can be named this game. Everybody can be named except La'el Collins. La'el Collins. I think everybody played a major fault in this L on offense.
Except for La'el Collins. And honestly, I'm going to keep it real with you. Connor Williams did his thing too, man, because Connor Williams had a hell of a block going up the middle on the 1 yard touchdown. Yeah. Like Connor Williams blew him up.
I take him off the fault list too.
Like Connor Williams, one thing I like about Connor Williams is I'm starting to figure out who he is. Like, Connor Williams is better in run blocking than he is in pass pro. And he gets nervous when anything that's like beyond a 3-step drop. When he got to protect longer than 3.5 seconds, Connor Williams starts getting weird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I like him because he also mean.
He is, because he was nasty on that. Bro, he blew what's it called up.
Yeah, he's a mean dude, bro. Like, Connor Williams he got some screws loose in a good way. You know what I mean? He out there to do punishment. And I just can't wait till he really kind of catch up to his body. I can see something in him too, man. I'm still being patient with him. I think he go be worth it.
Yeah. But I mean, but guess what? This is now the evaluation of Kellen Moore, because guess what? Now we get to really see what Kellen Moore is, because now you get to really see the true development, because it's easy to be good when everything's going good. You know what I'm saying? But
let me ask you a question, West Coast.
Go ahead.
Because I'm going to throw out a theory I can't prove, but I'm gonna just throw it out because it was just this game was so odd to me. It had such a smell of Scott Linehan. Just what if this game plan was pushed on him from Jason Garrett? Because
I'm not. Honestly,
I did hear Jason Garrett say that he wanted us to run Zeke more after we threw the ball very well.
Yeah, but this is my thing on Jason Garrett, right? Jason Garrett is not calling plays, so it does not matter what he says before the game.
That's why I said game plan. Like
yeah,
if you went into it like, I want you to feature Zeke more or X amount of plays, or where you maybe tied his hand a little bit. It just was weird.
I mean, honestly, I just think that our young offensive coordinator he took an L. Like I don't think that Kellen Moore has shown me enough in 3 games to show me that he can't have a down game or that he can't have a game where he can't adjust, because at the end of the day
he haven't shown that he can't just stank it up sometime too.
Yeah, like I mean, I think everybody's
gonna
overthink
sometime too. He can also
think about this. Like think about this. You have a night where your offensive weapons all had their worst night. Like nobody, like the only person on your offensive weapons that played anyway defense was Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? Because Zeke didn't have a good game. Mari Cooper didn't have a good game. Cobb didn't have a good game. Schultz had one good game, and guess what? We never went back to the tight end. Never went back to it. Like it's stuff like that makes me believe like that ain't on Dak. That's play calling. Like why didn't we at least try that play one more time? Why? Because they were in a cover 2 the entire night. The entire night. That's why it was wide open. They were in the cover 2 the entire night.
Listen, man. This is why I like these scouts, man. My boy Rodney Harrison said, "Boss, if you look at Moore's face on the sideline last night, he looked like he was upset
but I ain't about. Honestly, that's why I don't even. To be honest with you, that's why I don't even like talking about like stuff like that because what that does is that if you don't like Jason Garrett, that just feeds into the narrative
that's true. That he's not doing. To me, man. Don't listen.
Yeah, to me. because I'm gonna tell you, with weeks 1 through 3. If we try to bring up anything Jason Garrett say, oh, that's not Jason Garrett. That's because I'm thinking like, what does Jason Garrett do on the team then? You know what I'm saying? What is he doing?
Hey, I just want to throw out the conspiracy theory, man, because it just had that stench of Garrett and Linehan, bro. It just did, man, and I'm just trying to figure it out. But hey, don't take me too
Well, think about this. Think about this. Who's played for Linehan longer though? But think about this. I know, but boss, let me finish. Who has more years with Linehan? Jason Garrett or Scott Linehan? I mean, or Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore didn't play. Yeah, but Kellen Moore didn't play for him under 2 different teams.
Yeah, but like first job, the first job hired was Scott Linehan hired Jason Garrett.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is
he got more years under him,
bruh. Not for real.
I get out the conspiracy. Listen, divorce what I said because there's no evidence of it whatsoever.
Unless you don't like Jason Garrett, I mean, then it 100% support
facial expressions and the fact that it had a stench of Scott Linehan. But I was just trying to figure out just like why. But I did pull that out of left field. Do not take that literal.
Yeah, and I mean, and then my last thing on Jason Garrett is this, man. Like at some point, man, you got to assess, like, you know. If the play calling in 1 and 3 was Kellen Moore, and if we're looking at the play calling in this game, then how does he not get credit for weeks 1 through 3 then? Like, you know what I'm saying?
He do get credit.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. You can't crucify him when everything goes wrong, and you know what I'm saying, and then not give him any credit when everything's go right.
Because sometimes getting out the way, you still deserve credit. Like I still give Jerry Jones the main credit of the 90 Super Bowls because you got out of Jimmy Johnson way for the most part. You know what I mean? That still take leadership is to get out of Will McClay way is good leadership. Just get out his way. Right?
And every head coach pretty much in the NFL, unless you have a Super Bowl or a pretty damn good like consecutively winning record, is a puppet. Tell me a coach in the NFL right now without a Super Bowl that is not a puppet. I'll wait. Like
it's levels to that though, West Coast.
Thank you. Yeah, like
all levels. I'm not quite agreeing with you on that. It's levels to puppet. Like, and I agree with you overall. Yes. Yes, true. Facts what you're saying, no doubt. But I also think it's a level to it. You know what I mean? But I also think to balance it, just being all the way 180 on this or 360, full circle, whatever you want to call it, right? The more I've been thinking about it, the more it takes a special skill to work with Steven and Jerry.
Exactly.
You got to be skilled because they'll take your best players and piss on them publicly for money. And you got to be the person that's keeping them together. When your front office is throwing bop, bop, bop punches at them. And we all saw the punches in the offseason. Don't act like you did. So who was the cleanup man in that? Jason Garrett, brother. And when you see it, you also see them through those punches from front office, they sticking together.
Man.
That's usually a reflection of the leadership, bro.
And I'll tell you like this. I'm going to tell you the proof that I have that Jason Garrett has nothing to do with this. I'm going to tell you why. The NFL draft. The NFL draft says that Jason Garrett has no control over what's going on. Want to know why? Because ain't none of them dudes playing. Do you honestly think if Jason Garrett had that much control, you don't think that he would have gotten drafted players in a final year of his contract that can help him right now, considering we have needs right now?
Exactly.
So, when Jason Garrett is in the hold on, let me finish. So when I see Jason Garrett in the draft, and when I see the Dallas Cowboys picking needs that are better suited for 2 years from now, you know what they say? That coach right there that's sitting there, I'm sorry, his fate is probably already certain. And it probably has nothing to do with how many football games we win this season. I'm going to be honest with you. Because remember, even after the Rams lost, what did Jason Garrett say about Scott Linehan? He said they felt that there was going to be no change. And they said the next day, they was like, no, that's not what we meant. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this. The Dallas Cowboys, I think the Dallas Cowboys, as far as Kellen Moore, man, you just went into a situation where even if the Dallas Cowboys wanted to run the ball more, it is your job to design plays to run the ball more. Like, running the ball doesn't just mean hand the ball off to Zeke, run up line A. Like, you are still required to design plays that are suitable to disguise what you want to do. That's a part of Kellen Moore being a good play caller. So if he can, go ahead.
Let me keep it all the way balanced on this then, okay? I don't have enough evidence at all.
Then let's just not.
No. Let me finish. Because I said I'm going to keep it balanced. So I gave you that disclaimer. But I'm going to keep my eyes open at least. Right? Because sometimes we both know this, that there are certain things that can be forming behind the scenes and you could be sensing it, but you don't have the evidence of it. And just keeping your eyes open.
Yeah, but what do you feel is forming behind the scenes? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if
I'm saying, because I'm just looking at the thread, and maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I'm seeing a lot of people also kind of rocking with it. Like,
yeah, because it's easy. Want to know why though? Because it's easy. That's easy to believe. That's easy to believe, but not hard to prove it.
This is a good point that Jaquan said. This is a good point. It's a good point. This is why I said I got to keep my eyes open. He said, as much politics this team has, you really think Kellen got full control? See, that's a good point.
So then why would you think Jason Garrett has full control? He doesn't even have a job. He doesn't, that's my thing. If that is the case, why would you? Do you not? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you then give Jason Garrett credit? That makes no sense. Kellen Moore would have full control. That's why Kellen Moore has the job that Jason Garrett doesn't. Jason Garrett basically doesn't even have a job. Like, what is his actual job to do? He doesn't call plays on offense. He doesn't call plays on defense. He doesn't call plays on special teams. But you're going to let that guy have full control. And think about this. You didn't even let
full control and game plan. So he does have input of the game plan. So if you go, because see, me and you, we was having a silent, kind of small disagreement last week on what was the best way to attack. You said the best way to attack was through the running game. That was your way of attack. I said I think we should come out throwing on these guys. We disagreed on that. If you was the head coach, guess what? You the one to decide which way gonna be the primary way of attack, bro. And that is Jason Garrett. And all I'm saying is, and I'm saying this to you and everybody, I don't want to make any conclusions yet. All I'm going to say is I'm going to keep my eye open for clues. I don't think anybody should make any conclusions. Nobody. I don't think we should be pro Kellen, pro Jason Garrett. blaming Jason Garrett, blaming Kelly. I think we need to all keep our eyes on all environments because what Jaquez said was right. What we do know is we're a political organization, and a political.
But those politics don't make any sense, though. That's what I'm saying. But those politics don't make any sense because let's think about this. The Dallas Cowboys said the first time that they said that they wanted. Jason Garrett came out and said that he wanted Zeke to have a better workload. Guess what they did? They put up 227 rushing yards. 227. That's what they did week 2. So that's what I'm saying. Like you cannot, like, that makes sense. Our running game has been lit. Like, so that makes sense for you to go inside this game. Look at what this defense is giving up in these last 3 games.
Sense.
Hold up, it did make sense though because
it makes sense because it worked because you just said that the running game was lit week 2, right? But we led off with the running game for the first 3 series and it was drawn.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. And that's the adjustment I'm saying. Like that's the adjustment.
Until we came out in the 4th series throwing, which then opened up the running game. And what was really opened up the running game recently was throwing to run. We went away from running to throw. Because when we saw running to throw, we saw that week 2 for the first 3 series, and it was bone dry dead. We had 5 consecutive scoring drives when we came out throwing. All I'm saying is this. I don't want to get into no major debate on fault right now. All I'm saying is reasons for us to keep our eyes on the inner workings of politics within our organization.
Yeah, but there's no reason. But hold up, because I'll let you go.
Let me tell you why this is also important too, because there's a natural dynamic that goes into this too, which is the fear of being replaced.
So that's what I'm saying. So this
is real. This happens from where you worked at. What was your cell phone company?
Let me say something real quick because now we have a whole thread of the conspiracy. No, man, this has let me finish. Because think about this. Even with the conspiracy, you're down 2 points. Like what goes on in this game is execution, and what I absolutely hate is that we gave Jason Garrett there was no conspiracy. Like, who's to say that it wasn't Jason Garrett that came in here and said, hey, let's throw the pass, let's throw the run. We're not going to give him any credit for that though, but we're going to give him credit for saying, okay, let's do what the film says. The film said run the ball. When the Dallas Cowboys are not successful running the ball, we need to be smart enough to adjust. That is common. No, let me finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Because that's what's going to happen in every single football game. In every single football game that you're going to play, you are going to try to go out and execute a plan. And guess what? That team's job is to stop you from executing that plan. That's why you have a halftime for adjustments. Now, this is what I'm saying. If we can say that we want to go in and run the ball, guess what? We said that in the last games, and we ran the ball successfully. But when you're not able to run the ball, when you're not able to successfully run the ball, then guess what? That's when you have to have common sense to throw the ball. I mean, to freaking throw the ball. And guess what? If Kellen Moore don't have common sense to do that, what the hell are we really doing?
Now, listen,
what are we really doing?
I'm gonna pull one of your objections on me. I hope you're ready for it. Is you at least gotta give us this. We have reason to be suspect, bro. We do.
No, I don't believe it. No, I don't.
I'm gonna give you a reason. It was Jason Garrett, even after it was obvious that Scott Linehan was piss poor trash.
That's because Jason Garrett can't fire him. So that isn't Jason Garrett can't fire him. I already know where you're going. Jason Garrett cannot fire him.
So they know where I'm going. So check this out. Because I'm saying this is why we got reasons to be.
No, that's why you have a room to doubt Jerry Jones.
Now check this out, bro. Like, this is for real. And I mean this, my brother. Now check this. He said after that piss poor season of Scott Linehan that we have faith in Scott Linehan.
You want to know why? Because you want to know why? Because he does not own the team. I will never count. I will never fault an employee for being an employee. I don't give a damn who you say. All these rappers say they got all this money, and guess what? They all employees. Jason Garrett, he the head coach, but he's an employee. I will never fault an employee for being an employee.
But he usually don't even make a stand like that.
But guess what? But guess what?
If, you know what he usually does? He usually say, I don't make those decisions.
Man, no, Jerry. I'm gonna tell you.
He don't. When they talk about people's futures like that, they say that's the business of football and all that kind of stuff. You wanna know why though? Can I tell you why though? Let me tell you why though. PC, him speaking out on behalf of him, bruh.
But you wanna know why though? Because that was probably like, to think that Jason Garrett has power to say that is just oblivious. Like, that's not even realistic to think that Jason Garrett has the thought to say what I believe, and what we're talking about is that press conference after the Rams game. Yeah, what I believe is this. Because the Joneses take two different planes. They have a team plane and they have a plane for their family.
Right.
I believe the conversation they had before they left to go to the LA was that Scott Linehan was going to be back. And guess what? The Cowboys went to LA and we lost. And Jason Garrett got back on that team plane with his team and did not get on the plane with the management. And so guess what? When he does his press conference, he tells you the last thing that was told to him. Because guess what? That's exactly what I know that I can always trust Jason Garrett to do. And that is what? Say exactly what Jerry Jones tells him to say. Like, Jason Garrett is not going to openly defy Jerry Jones. That's not going to happen. And with that, he said what he said he's going to say. He said, hey, we feel he's going to be back. Guess what? The very next day, Stephen Jones comes out and says, no, we haven't made that decision yet. 3 days later, Scott Linehan's released. That's how that whole situation happened. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this, if you're gonna, I love what Jason Garrett is developed into right now. Why? Yeah. Because this team believes in Jason Garrett. They never quit on him. There has not been think about this. Let me finish saying this one thing. There has never been a game since Dak has been the quarterback. And honestly, even since Jason, there's never been a game where your team just flat out gave out. Even when we were 4-12, we did not get mathematically eliminated till week 15. And that was when we lost to the Jets. And guess who's your quarterback? Kellen Moore. So Jason Garrett keeps these guys, man. He keeps these guys going. And I'm just like, yo, man. Jason Garrett got the hardest job in the world. You want to know why? Because he's out here trying to earn his job just like y'all. Like, if you guys honestly think that a man who is trying to earn a job, trying to keep his job, coming home to his wife every day knowing that one bad game he could be let go, you don't think that man's out there trying to win a game by any means necessary? Why you think he going for it on fourth down? Because Jason Garrett, no, if I don't win a game, I am gone. And you guys are thinking that guy is the guy out here saying, oh, maybe I should just play around with these games. No, I think Jason Garrett probably want to win some of these games probably more than anybody. He want to win. I'm sorry. Why? Because he's the only one outside of what? He ain't paid. He not in the situation Coop's in. He not in the situation Dak's in. All these dudes are guaranteed to get paid. Guaranteed at some point. Jason Garrett is not. I think Jason Garrett wants it as bad as Jerry Jones wants it. Why? Because Jerry Jones know he about to die. You can buy all the money in the world, but you ain't living to 100. You ain't, come on, you got some skeletons in your closet. You know it's going to catch up with you.
So let me ask you a question, man. You love Jason Garrett?
No, I don't love Jason Garrett, but I respect where he's come from and I respect where he's at right now. Okay. That's what I respect.
I wanted you to clarify that because, see, I don't want anybody to think that me and you are on some super pro Jason Garrett or super anti Jason Garrett.
Nah.
This is one of those things to where I see improvement in him as well. And I acknowledge those things that I love that I saw, like going for it on fourth down. I love that he showed way more emotion with those refs. I've been mad at that for a long time, and I saw it. So when I saw him redder than his hair about 3 times going at this, I was happy to see that. But I'm going to remain very open-minded for some political malfunctions within our organization.
Well, do you think he'll be more political to keep his job? Do you think that Jason Garrett would do anything I would think they would be more political to what? To keep his job, though, right? Like, Why? I'm totally against anything.
See, you speaking in the world of common sense, but we also know this world doesn't always run by common sense, even with powerful people. Because if that was the case, then Scott Linehan would have listened to Dez Bryant, who was right a year.
Yeah, but maybe because Dez was yelling and screaming on the sidelines, maybe that's why they weren't listening.
Right,
but you guys noticed,
right. And so was other people right, and he still didn't listen. There are certain people that'll destroy a good thing on ego.
Neither did Jerry Jones. Ego. Jerry Jones didn't listen either, though. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, and he's an example that would do the same. So I'm saying, like, in a perfect common sense, logical world, you're right. He wouldn't sabotage himself by sabotaging Kellen Moore. And sometimes you can be sabotaging people and you can be doing it subconsciously. This is how the world works also in corporate America. Like when you see the young up and coming guy that's there that can be your replacement, some people get in a real retarded survival mode where they start trying to sabotage the guy that's actually preserving them.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that that's what he's doing, but I'm also not going to act like that's not the reality of this world as well. You see what I'm saying? Because that is sometimes the reality of this world as well.
But that's a far-off reality, though.
But it's a far-off thing that's actually even happened to us under Scott Linehan. We saw the same.
Yeah, but Scott Linehan has never been in this position. He's never been in this position. Jerry Jones in this position where he was on a one-year deal and was playing like a player to keep his job. Scott Linehan has never did. Scott Linehan hasn't
had this position. He didn't. Not this exact position.
Like no coach has been like. Let me keep thinking about this. There's no coach in the NFL that's in this position. Think about this. No coach in the NFL is in a position where they're like, yo, if you do not win this year, you will be fired next year. There is not one coach. Not even the Dolphins coach, and they didn't win a game all year.
What you're saying is, okay, there's more than likely no probability. We only disagreeing on this. I'm saying there is a probability. That's the only disagreement we have. That there's a probability that politics once again can, cause see, like if the world was about common sense, then Jordan Lewis would be starting nickel, wouldn't he? If the world was about common sense, then Noah Brown wouldn't be on the roster, right? Because he never competed for the roster spot in training camps. But it's not about common sense. Every now and then, funky, stanky, stupid politics and favoritism and just retarded self-survivalism puts his head into common sense decisions. Straight up. And it happens. Like it's time to where you told me stuff that was common sense. And for whatever reason, retarded boss Cowboy didn't do it fast. It might have took me 2 months, but that was my fault. It was times I told you stuff and it might take 3 months or it might take 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Because we just weren't functioning in logic at that point. But my point is this, and I'm going to move on from this. I'm going to keep my eyes open. But there's no evidence as well of the conspiracy theory that I threw out. And that's
so basically what we're doing is we're just going to plant a seed, and if any random thing waters it, then guess what? You can just water it and it'll grow. Like that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to prevent the planting of a seed because I know that there are people who I'm sorry, like they don't have it where they like some like think about this. There are people right now still mad at Dez Bryant. Like you know what I'm saying? Like there are people still mad at Dez Bryant right now to this day. Why you don't like Dez? Because he threw tantrums and he was all up and throwing stuff. Yeah, but that's what you want, Dez. That's what you want your head coach doing.
You playing it the same way.
That's what you want your head coach doing. Oh, backwards.
Seed out there. You right. I'm agree with that. I'm gonna end on that. You right. It is safer to not put the seed out there with no evidence. You right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. Y'all basically want Dez in your coach, but then you don't want Dez on your team.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like, what is that? What's up with that? Like, so basically, anybody that says that they want to see emotion out of their coach, then don't talk to me about when I say I want Dez back on this team. Well, he's a bad guy in the locker room, and he's a guy. And then think about this: if your coach goes off, like, if I'm Jason Garrett, why would I go off knowing that your owner's not going to support you? When Chris Richard, the hottest coach in Dallas, got into it with them dudes in Philly, what did Stephen Jones say to support him? He said, that is not something that you want to see out of a coach in Dallas. Like, damn, if I'm Chris Richard, I'm like, damn, like,
right.
You couldn't have, like, pretended to like it?
Yeah.
Like, zero support. And we won the game. Or he could have just said nothing. But Stephen Jones said, that's something we don't want to see out of our coach. Chris Richard then, what did he do? He apologized for it. And guess what? We never seen it again. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
That's not what they wanted Dallas.
I got to get back in this debate, bro. Nah, I'm gonna leave it alone.
They don't. That's
my mind, bro. And
they don't want it.
I mean, because this is one thing, and I wrote about this, bro. I put this out there. I said the evidence that Kellen Moore is not governed under the politics of the Cowboys is looking at the Witten snap counts. Because we all know under Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett leadership, Witten was getting way too many snaps, bro, at his old age. And that's not saying for all you Witten lovers out there, I love him too. I just love him at the right amount of snaps. I never would love a 37, 38-year-old tight end with an up-and-coming stud that's a vertical threat getting 98% of snaps.
That's at any position. That's at any position.
Thank you, West Coast, for saying and clarifying it for me. Any position.
That's any position.
So when I saw Kellen Moore have the freedom to tell that vet to sit down at least for 35% of the snaps, I said, thank you, God, right? Because under Garrett and Scott Linehan, they
96%.
So I'm actually thinking, and this don't even just go for Jason Garrett. This goes for me and you agreed on this before. This goes for Chris Richard too, because I still don't understand how Jordan Lewis. How do you trust a guy to take on Alvin Kamara, the biggest threat on the Saints, but you don't trust him on 3rd and 14 receivers?
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't honestly get it.
That tells me this, at least, West Coast. Politics is swimming through this organization somewhere, and that fish gotta die, bro. It's somewhere. And you're right. I shouldn't plant the seed and put it on Jason Garrett. You're right, because that can grow up in water and it can be totally wrong. But it's a fish in our organization that's doing the Pac-Man, and he eating up dots, man, and it's happening, and we keep seeing it, and nobody can perfectly put their finger on the fault. But somebody the fault of these political, silly organizational decisions.
Yeah, I just honestly believe that Kellen Moore has more control over it than Jason Garrett does. Because I believe they know for a fact that Kellen Moore is their future. So the draft said it all. We had a problem scoring points. We had a problem scoring 19. We only scored average, 22 points after Cooper got there? Well, what did we do to address that in the draft? We got guys who will basically have their best showing probably next year. Every one of our draft picks will probably play more next year than they will play this year, including Tony Pollard.
Yep.
So, and then you have a coach that's trying to keep his job. Guess what? I would think you would be doing what? Trying to get weapons, trying to get anything that you can to do what? To try to improve what you want to improve on. And you allow, and then think about this. You allow, Jason Garrett really has control. Well, don't you think he would have had a little bit more say so in when they paid Ezekiel Elliott? Why? Because if this is think about this. The Jerry Jones basically said, Jerry Jones, look at Jason Garrett. This is what we're gonna do. Not only are we gonna pay you, but we're also even gonna have the chance of you might having to win this thing and win your job without Ezekiel Elliott.
Right on,
that's what they basically. That's how they feel about Jason Garrett. That's why I believe that Jason Garrett's his future is already determined. It's already been determined. That's why. Why? Because if you've noticed, none of their decisions fall in line with supporting him or de-supporting him. It's like we already know what we're doing with you at the end of the year, so we're just gonna act as if we're doing it now. Right. I think that Jason Garrett's I don't think he's gonna get fired. I think he's going to get promoted into management. And he'll still be working for the Dallas Cowboys, but I do not believe that Jason, win or lose the Super Bowl, I don't believe that Jason Garrett's going to be your head coach next year. Why? Because look at you guys now. When we're winning, guess who gets all the credit? Gets all the credit. Not Jason Garrett. He don't get none of that. So true. Why would you as a fan base why would Jerry Jones pay that? You think Jerry Jones is he's not giving him credit for that. But guess what? When things don't go wrong, guess what? When things go wrong, guess who gets that credit? The blunt of it, Jason Garrett. So, that's why I believe that Jason Garrett, honestly, he's in a win-lose situation. You know what I'm saying? The best thing he can do is get a ring out of it, because I just do not believe that he's going to be your head coach next year. And to be honest with you, people have been saying, West Coast, you crazy when I say this, but why not make Kellen Moore your head coach? Why not? Why not? If you're letting them call the plays and your head coach is already not doing anything, It almost feels like you could do the same job then, right? It almost feels like you can save $6.5 million, give him a $3 million raise, and you got 2 and 1. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I agree with it too, man. Like Kellen Moore, I mean, it's a lot of people that want to shoot me when I say this because I was super team Chris Richard too.
But what happens when Kellen Moore gets a job?
I'm not super team Chris Richard. As long as I'm watching people like Jordan Lewis not play, because what that says is you're a more vocal puppet. I'm just being honest, because if you trying to talk me out of my common sense, I'm not gonna let you do it to me.
Hey, Dwayne. Hey, I got an abrupt subject change.
All right.
My boy Dwayne Yeezy came through. He says he's a supporter and a scout. He says talk about Hill versus Charleston. Did we release the right guy? I want to end this.
Let's go.
I want to end tonight with this. I want to end tonight with this conversation.
I'm done too.
Taco Charleston. So man, Taco Charleston in 6 quarters has 2.5 sacks. If he was currently on the Dallas Cowboys right now, he would be number 2 in sacks on your team. And think about this. We've played a total of 4, 8, 12, 16 quarters. And think about this. 16 eligible quarters the team has played. He's only played in 6 quarters. And he has 2 sacks. And he'd have more than D-Law. He would be tied with he'd be right under Robert Quinn. And think about them. Him and Robert Quinn both play on the same side. So imagine if we had 4.5 sacks coming off that right side. And the thing that a lot of people get mixed up is, and I posted my post, I said, did the Dallas Cowboys release the right guy? And instantly people jumped in my comment, oh, he's not better than Quinn. He's not better. Quinn has 3 sacks. No. I'm like, first off, why aren't you greedy? Why is 5 not better than 3? Yes. So why wouldn't you want them both? And then secondly, just so we can make sure that we're all on the same page, the Dallas Cowboys did not release Taco Charleston in favor of Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn has always been on the team. They released him in favor of Tristan Hill, and they even gave Tristan Hill his jersey number. Like, he wears Taco's jersey now. So, my question to you right now, and I guess you can throw Joe Jackson in there right now. Did the Dallas Cowboys release the right guy in releasing Taco and keeping Joe Jackson? Hyder, I don't believe Hyder, because Hyder played better at the defensive tackle than Hyder won his position fair and square. Like, Hyder won his. But what are your thoughts on, just Tristan Hill, man? Like,
I want to take the whole subject real quick of did we release the right person? It depends on what's your priority. My priority is always play. So I said on record that I want Taco out of here. When Tank got paid. Why? Because I was mad at his attitude when Tank got paid, and I swore, I said this dude is not going to be good in the locker room with his guys, because the day Tank got paid, he put out there, I didn't even come up with it. I didn't ask to be a hot boy. I remember that. You remember that, West Coast? It pissed me off. I was like, nah, bro, I've been in the locker room, so I know how your core guys, your core group got to be your most important guys. So I was in the DB room. We was family. If you was in there because my boy got paid, I ain't asked to be with the DB crew or whatever the name would be, the no-fly zone. That to me, that's dissension, and that's in the locker room. But guess what? I changed my mind. When? Fam. Right? When I saw Taco balling in the preseason, and don't discount preseason, because the same games that he went off on was the same games Armstrong and Joe Jackson was silent on. Yeah. So if I'm just, I prioritize performance, and I'm very forgiving when you perform. So in my opinion, yes, he was the wrong one to let go. Who you should have let go? This year he was the wrong one. Now maybe
and what about those people
Armstrong develop? Maybe in the future they'll be. But for this year, in an all-in year, who showed the greatest progression this year was Taco.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna take it back. at all, because I saw it with my eyes. And you not gonna talk me out of what I saw with my eyes. And you saw it too.
And let's not pretend like he just got good. Like he balled in the Texans game, and the last 2 preseason games he balled. So for him to go out there and get 2 sacks in a regular season game, that sounds about right. When you play good in the preseason, you typically play good in the regular season.
And this is where people are missing it. They thinking that we not saying.
And Randy Gregory hasn't even fouled for man. I promise you, I'm gonna send a big slap yourself to anybody that is counting Randy Gregory, who has not played football in almost a year. Has not practiced with the football team, has not been with the Dallas Cowboys. I love Randy Gregory, know him personally, but he has not practiced or done anything with the Dallas Cowboys. And now you think he's about to get out there and beat the highest paid position in football. The right tackle. The guy who protects the blind side.
Left tackle.
The left tackle, I apologize. The left tackle. You think he's about to just jump off his mama's couch and do that? No preseason, no regular season, no nothing.
And even if he was West Coast, let me just rock.
That's not realistic, man.
I'm with
like,
you,
come
though.
on.
Let's just say even if he was. Let's just throw out the hypothetical. To me, this is where people are missing it. It's never about saying that Taco was the starter. It was he the best rotational player?
We could have had both of them.
We could have had both. That's the key. It's not about, we
who's
got
better,
Quinn or we got Randy.
Thank you.
No, it's not about that. It's about when Quinn needed a break, who did you want in there to replace him?
Because think about this, boss. Our plan was to have all of them.
And I would say I wanted Taco instead of Armstrong, because every time Quinn checked out this game, you saw a drop-off coming from the right side.
Yep.
Let's just be honest. And I like Armstrong, and I think he's developing.
But he's not better than Taco.
He's not better than Taco this year. Now,
No.
maybe when he develop, because see, this is the thing, and this is what everybody got to keep in mind. When you looking at a defensive end, you looking at an average of 3 years for any one of them to become
Even
into their
D-Log.
own.
Even
Any
D-Log.
one of them. So what you really did is you reset the clock. And did we have time to reset the clock? Yes, Joe Jackson has the potential, the position flex now, but on average, it's gonna take him another 2 years. It's gonna take Tristan another 2 years after this year before we say, "Damn, they dogs." Like, look how long it took Malik Collins before we finally started to say, "Well, Malik Collins, he's a dog." Look how long it took Tank before we finally said Tank is a dog. It took Tank 3 years. So if I'm looking at the clock of where they are in their careers, man, we should have
gave up on him next year.
Yeah. And
we should have gave up on him next year.
Thank you, bro. You said it way better than I was gonna say it. We should have gave up on him next year. This was not the year to reset the clock on all of them, bro. Because now we still waiting on Joe Nim to develop. It's not saying that they.
Hey, Boss Cowboy, what year was D-Law in when Jerry Jones made the infamous statement, "We need a war daddy," and went and drafted Taco? Remind you. So you're telling me in year 3,
yep,
Jerry Jones was looking at DeMarcus Lawrence like he was a
replaced bust.
So in year 3, they were looking at the guy who makes more money than any Dallas Cowboy ever.
As finished.
In year 3.
When you go out and say,
what's Taco?
We're looking for a war daddy, when you already drafted a DN in the second round, a priority pick, that means you gave up on that guy.
Yep.
So when we saying the clock on a DN, that's real. That's not a joke. We can look at our own DNs and determine that that's true. We can look at David Irvin. David Irvin didn't become a beast till like year 3.
Yeah.
He showed a lot of potential year 1 and 2. He's just like our young DNs now and D tackles now. You see the flash, but you don't see the dog. It take about, and I say even with Rod Marinelli, it take at least 8 games before you kind of learn the Rod way of playing defensive tackle and defensive end. It takes the normal guy 8 years to learn his level of motor that he demands, you know? So it's one of those things. So yeah, I stand with Taco. He's gone. I totally disagree with the move because I'm judging play, not personality. I I'm like West Coast and other people. I've been in locker rooms. A lot of you have been in locker rooms. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the locker room is overrated in importance.
Yeah, that's the same. I
I
mean,
ain't worried about West Coast in my next locker when I got to go play in front of 100,000. His personality ain't gonna affect me.
yeah, and then think about
that. Like, are
yeah.
we saying that West Coast gets to me? He gets to me, so I'm not gonna be able to play. Are we really thinking that's how the world works when guys are going to be gladiators? That they worrying about a personality conflict? Yes, every now and then it's super big like a TO, but these old so-called, man, you forgive everything when boys making plays. I promise you.
Yeah, man. Like the Dallas Cowboys
races on my team. I forgave him quick once he got 2 sacks.
Yeah, and think about this. If you even go look at Taco in college, like his first year he had 2 sacks. The second year he had like 4. The third year he had like 8. Like every year he got better as he played more. And think about this. He was only active 7 games last year. So it's like, you know, I've never seen the Dallas Cowboys give up on a first round like they did, man. The only player I've ever seen them give up this fast was Ryan Russell, the former 4th round pick. But like a first round draft pick, you just would have thought. And think about this: Taco was a late first round pick, so you know he was basically costing you the same amount of money a second round pick would cost you. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a late first round pick, and you had already paid him the bulk of his money in the first 2 years. I think you only saved like $1.2 million. That's nothing, man. That's half of what you pay Jason Witten. So, like, honestly, everything about the Taco release, none of it says football. Like, none of it says football. Because the guys...
typical what we do, man.
Yeah, because the guys that you release him for aren't playing better than him.
Like, and this is why I say we got to keep our eyes open for politics, because there's a major stench of personality trumping play on this team. It's like we'd rather deal with a bad to average guy that with a good attitude than a good to great guy that's a vocal player. That's the pattern I see on this. Exhibit A, number 1, is Jordan Lewis. That's the biggest mystery right now to me going on to this day. I just cannot get how you trust a guy to take on the biggest threats, but then you don't trust him to take on the third best receivers. It's just your logic. It don't even make logical sense. And what you're telling me is just like Jim Jones did to his coach members. He said, drink this Kool-Aid for everlasting life that's going to kill you. I'm sorry. I'm not drinking Kool-Aid that's going to kill me.
Yeah.
And so, and it's evidence of that. It's almost like when you hearing stuff from different sources that make it seem like there's some truth to it. When you're hearing Garrett guys, and I'm not putting this on Garrett, I'm saying this from a standpoint of there's some personality. Personality is just too important to us. To me, it's like they trump that over play. That's why people get passes like Heat, like Noah Brown, like Anthony Brown. It's like you don't even draft guys that's upgrades because I like this guy. He's a captain. He's a personality. He does it the right way. But how does he play? I know he do it the right way, but how does he play?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, man, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you, man. And I don't like this. They don't fit my style of play. Like, what are you talking about, man? Your styles are supposed to change every week. You know what I mean? As the film dictates. But yo, man, it's your boy West Coast, man. We've been on here about right at 2 hours, man. Boss Cowboy, man. Let them know where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, Boss Cowboy Sports. You know I'm gonna be releasing that recap soon. You know I'm gonna break down my analysis of the game. You know, I always tell it like it is, and I think that's out the box. And then it's going to be under my Twitter, which is backwards from Boss Cowboy. It's going to actually be Cowboy underscore boss is my Twitter handle. So all my articles and all that kind of stuff is going to be on there as well. But if you're looking for me, you go find me at Boss Cowboy Sports.
Yo, and you already know what it is, man. It is your boy West Coast, man, the most traveled cowboy out there, man. Shoot, man. Hey. We get to start it all over tomorrow. We will definitely be looking at these Green Bay Packers, man, because we got a what's up with you, Colonel Bill? We got an angry Aaron. We got a pissed off Aaron Rodgers coming in here, man, and that ain't never good. So
and then this the worst thing is you starting to hear that NBA Jams theme. He's heating up. You don't want that. He's on fire. So right now Rodgers is starting to heat up. So this is the best time to throw cold water on.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. So this is another playoff game atmosphere. Your boy West Coast will be in the building, man. Make sure you guys come out this Saturday, man, at the Omni Mandalay Hotel. The tickets are $95. Use the West Coast 25, get $25 off your tickets. We're gonna have Lyle Collins out there and Jalen Smith. Bring your autograph stuff if you want to get it autographed, man. And you guys already know what it is, man. You know what it is. Never look down because the stars are up. Peace.